Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the situation report or the summary for the day of 968 for the 19th of October for the Ukraine war. The Ukraine war currently is on the 20th of October. Most of the day is gone at this recording. I think most of it, I guess. So we're gonna but this is a summary of the previous day. Everything that has happened during those days, and there are also the latest reports on geolocations in this report at this current moment, as per the recording. Over the Kursk front, the Russians continue their counteroffensive, and there is some development. So, first thing first, over the Glushkovo sector, the Ukrainians are still holding out over at the Novi Put region. This Glushkovo, by the way, and there is some claims coming from the Russians sources that the Russians have already entered Novi Put and they are doing clearing operation in Novi Put, but we have no confirmation of this. Otherwise, the Russian Defense Ministry do report that there is fighting over at Novi Put. Over the western flank of the Kursk front, so this is the western flank, northern flank, eastern flank, and southern flank. But generally, these two usually we put it as one nowadays because there's not a lot of things happening. Over the western flank, the Russian forces are still fighting over in the Lyubimovka region. They have declared capture of Lyubimovka. There is geolocation to seem to suggest that Lyubimovka is fully captured. But because the fog of war in this area is pretty thick, I also don't dare to just call it as they have captured it. So otherwise, the Russians are indeed pushing over the Lyubimovka region. Ukrainian forces are counter-attacking in this region as well as over at Zelenishai. The Russians are fighting in Zizny as well as in the latest Russian Defense Ministry report, claiming that the Russians are attacking into Svertiklovo. So, which is interesting because this is actually a new location that the Russians are now pushing towards, which means that Darino might have fallen, given the fact that the Russian Defense Ministry is mentioning Svertiklovo. And over further up north in the Novo Ivanovka region, there is some mechanized attack towards the direction of Viktorovka, and however this attack has failed. But at least two of the vehicles got destroyed. Particularly, this one was destroyed by a Ukrainian tank at point blank range again. However, with this geolocation, we can kind of understand that the area north of Novo Ivanovka most likely is under Russian control. So this area here, this tree line, maybe this valley, and maybe some control of the roads, this is now under Russian control. It doesn't look like a lot. It looks like a huge piece of land, but actual places where they can entrench, they can put troops, it's not that much. Which is why even though I draw it this way, it's not that big per se in terms of the number of locations that they can hide out. Then this area here down, this is just the road, and this is just possible Russian presence. We cannot confirm if the Russians have any infantry in this area here. The Ukrainians are still holding out over Novo Ivanovka. There is no indication that the Russians have captured it. So the Russians are pushing the battle further away. Yeah, feels a bit rushed. In the northern flank, other than the Russians are attacking towards Viktorovka, the Russians also destroyed a bridge over at Viktorovka, and they are attacking in the region of Malaya Loknia. There's a missile strike on Ukrainian forces on the tree line. This does confirm that the Ukrainians indeed have forces defending the western flank of Viktorovka. So, otherwise, the situation around here seems to be pretty tense. A lot of speculations are probably among the troops on what's currently happening and what will happen next. It must be very tense for them. The situation around Ogovka, Crimea Noe, there's no more news, as well as the rest of the northern flank. So there's a high chance all this area has been fully captured by the Russian forces. There's a very good chance that's the case. So let's wait for more intelligence and see how these continue to progress. Over in the southern flank, the Russian forces are still fighting Blakovo region. And there is development over the Ruskaya Konopelka region, as the Russians are continuing to push along the railway line towards Sudja. There is geolocation of Russian forces around Ruskaya Konopelka, and these two geolocations confirm that the Russian forces have fully retaken Ruskaya Konopelka. But Ruskaya Konopelka have never fully fallen to the Ukrainians. So if you can see the mapping, is the Ukrainians only went as far as half of it. They didn't fully capture the entire thing, and now the Russians have fully secured it. So this is the most significant development. If the Russians push the battle towards into the eastern part of Sudja, then I think the Ukrainians' strategic priorities may change. So let's continue to wait for more intelligence. Within the Sumy region, there is a missile strike on a Ukrainian ammo dump at Pisarivka, so not important. Over in the Kharkiv front, at the Kharkiv front, there is only reports of fighting over at Voschansk. This is the only report we have over the Kharkiv front, so which is over here. So there is this Kharkiv. So that's all for the Kharkiv front. Over the Kupiansk front. So this is Kupiansk. At the Kupiansk front, Russian forces are fighting still in the region of Holubivka, Sinkivka, Stepova Novostelivka. And so this is the field one. And so the regional location of Ukrainian forces getting hit, confirming Ukrainian presence in this region. Our front lines are pretty much accurate, except for this area, which I suspect that the Russian forces may have advanced position around here to warrant the reports of fighting over at Holubivka. We go into the Pischane front just south of this location. At the Pischane front, Russian forces are pushing towards Osinove, Koleniskivka, fighting at Krylyakivka in the Pischane region, and towards Lozova. The big news, of course, is over at Krylyakivka. If you have watched the Frontline Changes report, you probably would have known the Russian forces have been geolocated inside of Krylyakivka, and they're starting to push towards the crossing over at Senkove, Krylyakivka. So this is a pretty significant development, and we shall continue to monitor and see whether the Russians will reach the bridge or not within the next few days. So Ukrainians most likely will be putting a lot of effort to try to hold back the Russian onslaught around here. So let's wait and see how this continue to develop. Moving into I just want to add also, the situation here is so tense. According to the Deep State UA, they have sent elite forces. The elite forces is coming from the Defense Intelligence DIU, the main Directorate of Intelligence. So they have sent some units. It's called the Brotherhood Unit, part of the Timor Special Unit. These are special forces. So which means that the situation for the Ukrainians, this is so dangerous, so important. It is so prioritized that they have sent in the elite forces there, and this elite force may be also fully is among the best trained, best armed, best equipped, and there are also probably foreign fighters within it. So this is they have indeed sent the best possible troops to hold Krylyakivka. So the Russians may push, but whether they how far they can push, it remains to be seen. So this is something that almost dropped out of my mind. So over at the Svetove front, there is fighting reported in the Vishneve region in the northern side. But that's all we have. Nothing much over there. Over in the southern flank, there is fighting reported towards Druzhilubivka, Kharkivka, as well as Makievka. But that's all. As usual, we don't have much intel about the situation around here. Over in the Kremina front, this is Kremina. Fighting is reported at Terny, Torske. That's all. Over the Sivas front, there is no reports of fighting around this area. At the Bakhmut front, we have fighting being reported at Klishevka, Stuposhki, and Chasivya. There is some geolocation of Ukrainians getting hit within Chasivya, but that also shows Ukrainians are there. The Ukrainian mapping, Deep State UA have actually considered that the Russians have made progress within the southeast of Klishchiivka as the Ukrainian claim areas getting smaller. So let's continue to see. This is of course very, very different from the Russian mapping, but let's wait for them to finally join hands together. Over at the New York front, fighting is reported at Torex as well as towards Romanivka. Romanivka is reported by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. So this is a very interesting report, which means that the Russians may have pushed out from Leonidivka, pushing west. So, which is why we probably have the fighting reported at Romanivka. And so that's something interesting to note. So, Romanivka, likely possible Russian expansion westward from Leonidivka, Nelipivka region. So, and some other geolocation of Ukrainian forces, not particularly important. Fighting is reported at Dilievka. According to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, this Dilievka is the one at Torex direction, because there's two Dilievka. So this one, this is another one. This is part of Bakhmut front. This is part of the Torex front or New York front. So let's move on. Over at the Pokrov sector, at Vostdivizenka, there is geolocation of Russian forces at the entrenchment, confirming that the Russians have captured the heavy entrenchment that is guarding Vostdivizenka. So this is a significant frontline change over in the Pokrov front. So let's see. Vostdivizenka is likely going to be pretty not so easy to capture, but with the fall of the entrenchment, I think, yeah, there is actually some progress for the Russians, and Ukrainians still have entrenchment inside and to the north, so there is a very heavily entrenched around this area. I think the Ukrainians don't need to have too much fear. Otherwise, we have fighting reported at Promin towards Minokhrad. There is fighting reported at Selidove and Mikhailivka. Ukrainian forces allegedly counterattack over in the eastern side of Selidove. So that's about it. In the Pokrov region. Further south in the Pokrov front, in the Sukharine region, Russian mapping claims that they have more control around Sukharine, and in the way they kind of claim that they have captured Sukharine, but not confirmed. The mapping is a bit vague, and there is also pushes west from Ukraine's moving towards Novodimitrivka. So this is the one, and we shall continue to monitor to see how this continue to develop. But this is only based on Russian claims, so it's not that particularly solid per se, the information. Over at the Khernik region, fighting is reported at Novoselidivka, Khernik, Zeleny Druhi, Kurakivka, Otrivske, and towards Korakove. And particularly there is latest information, geolocation of Russian forces in the eastern part of Zuriani, and which means that with this geolocation we can confirm the Russian front line have advanced, and the entire eastern part of Zeleny Druhi most likely have fallen, and the northwestern part of Krasnohorivka, which is here, is also fully captured by the Russian forces. And this means that the Nevelske salient is now fully almost entirely taken by the Russian forces. So the Nevelske is here. So previously there was this massive salient around here, a massive bulge that the Russians need to conquer, and now it's now almost fully conquered. Everything has been taken by the Russian forces. So this is a end of yet another chapter. Something that I almost thought that would never happen or would take forever to happen, happened. So Nevelske was like this small little town or village or settlement that can never be captured, and now it's gone. And I still remember the day of Pisky, and fighting at Pisky was like never ending, and it took a long time for the Russians to capture. Now we are moving so far away. So yeah, time flies, man. Everyone is getting old. So over in the Kurakove sector, as mentioned just now, Kurakivka, Otriske, and towards Kurakove, there is fighting reported. The Russians also claim that Maximilianivka is fully captured. So the Russian mapping claims all the way like this, whereas we have geolocations confirming at least this sector is fully captured. So the Russian forces most likely have fully captured the entire of Nevelske. This is most likely the case, and fighting is now moving towards Dalny. Fighting is still reported around the Georgivka region. So the Russians are definitely expanding the control around this area, and let's see what can they do next, because heavy Ukrainian entrenchments all over the place around here. It will take let's see how long the Russians are going to take to dismantle all these fortifications. Moving to the Konstantinivka Vodiane front, in the Donetsk front, Russian forces are fighting in the Konstantinivka region and fighting at Antonivka, Katerinivka, towards Bohovivlenka, in the area of Voleda. So that's about it. Nothing's particularly special. There's not much detailed reports around here. There is a geolocation of Russian airstrikes hitting Bohovivlenka. Clearly, they are preparing the grounds for the Russian ground offensive, moving towards Bohovivlenka. So, and moving away from that region, at the Velikonovo-Syrka sector, there is geolocation of Russian forces, confirming more advance in the north of Prione, moving towards Novodarivka. So, but that's all. And then over the Zaporizhia front, we have fighting reported towards Novodanilivka. Geolocation of Ukrainian forces getting hit by airstrikes is being geolocated, and but that's about it. And for those that you may realize that there is seemingly slightly lesser reporting, non-plotted reports of fighting. That's because the Russian Defense Ministry on Friday do publish a weekly summary. So they don't have the daily summary, they only have the dailies for the Kursk front. So Kursk front, we have the detailed report, but for the rest of Ukraine, it was a summary, so I cannot map anything from that report. And finally, at the Kherson front, we have nothing. So that's it. So this is the situation report or the summary for the day of 19th October, for the day of 9/6/8, and I'll see you guys in the next update.